Welcome to another installment of Comparative Reasoning. I'm your host, Sedrik Cannady. To aid in holding back the forwardness of this country, people were sold a bill of goods. One was who this country is for, and two, how we are gerrymandered into a self-serving corporate system. When it comes to voting to make the country better for the children, the next generation, the future of our world, or whatever else you want to call it, that has all been a lie or a misleading truth. It's been far too long we've settled into that falsehood. You might disagree with me, and if you do, I understand. However, let me explain my point of view, and if what I say makes just a little sense, I ask that you keep hanging in there and hear me out in full context of this new idea for everyone registered to vote or would like to vote but don't know where they lie. The bill of goods sold to us were to vote DNC or RNC, and by doing so, we would ensure a better future for our kids. I need you to know something important. They were not talking to you. They were talking to the donors. The donors contribute $50,000 and up expecting results from the campaigners they support. Of course, their children's financial future will be secure. Deregulations are great for their pockets, but no one's health. I want to talk to you, the common person. I'm not talking to the middle class. They have it well and don't live paycheck to paycheck. I'm talking to labor workers, the single parent, dual parent, and the broke two-job working people going back to school, and the would-be middle class if their student loans were not in the $200,000 range when they graduate. I'm also talking to the 99% out there trying to make ends meet and get ahead in a race they were told about 2 days after the starting gun fired. You want a better future for your children, but let me ask you, has your vote made a difference? Every major election, things get just a bit harder. Every month, prices in stores seem to just go up another 25 to 89 cents. Those same prices seem to stay the same for a few months with claims of being on sale, rollback, or whatever term of business wants to use. Aren't you getting just a bit sick of the stupid routine of waiting for year-end deals and bone tossing? I get that sales are great, and yet we stalk Black Friday, Cyber Thursday, after Christmas sales, New Year's deals, and tax returns where you are socially made to believe you get it all back when you only get back a small percentage of what you worked for. If your vote was working, wouldn't life right now be well enough for you to not depend on these days, what we now call events? Just take some time to think about it before going further with this post. See, I have a new take on things. Let's not vote to make things better for our children. Let's abandon that. Let's vote to make things better for us, the voters, and right now, in the present. What good is a vote for your children when you won't be around to enjoy it with them? Just hear me out on this line right here. If we make this country a better place for us right now, then by default, it will be better for our children. I'll repeat that. If we make this country a better place for us right now, then by default, it will be better for our children. I'm 40 years old, 41 in February. I have a 6-year-old who will be 7 in January. Everything we could ever need could be ours in a matter of 8 years or less if we do something drastic. We need to leave the DNC and RNC and stop listening to paid media like ABC, MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, and any other station that hides the truth, steers you blindly into the dark wall of irrationality, and turn a blind eye to double standards. We need to abandon things that have never had our best interest at heart. I'm talking to you too, conservatives. I'm talking to everyone out there struggling to make some kind of money to have a better living in the richest country on the planet. Here's another question. Doesn't it feel like an insult to hear that your country is the greatest, the richest, and full of unending opportunity, while you sit there blockaded from these said things? I hear you, Republicans. You blame the liberals for everything wrong in the country. I hear you, liberals. You blame the conservatives, the Republicans, the neoliberals. I hear you. I've heard it since I was 11, watching the news before school and hearing it at night as I went to sleep before the snow screen and rainbow bars showed up. I hear you. Now I'm asking you to hear me. The fault is not the left or the right. The fault is not the conservative or the liberal. The fault is on both sides, being forced to watch the same propaganda and at the same time being unwilling to give social media a chance. It's called social media because they reach out to the public. They talk to you like I am. You have all been masterfully divided for decades because the powers that be know for sure if you all united under a banner of reason, logic, understanding, and communication, they would all crumble, and they, with all of their wealth, could not stop it. Without you hating each other, you'd be able to listen to each other. You'd stop the insults, the race baiting, racial troll attacks, and realize that you all have the exact same needs in common. Real talk time now. Most white racists can't wait to spout how niggers are lazy, ruining communities, and need to get off welfare. Let me explain something. Most people on welfare are white. I know that will come somewhat of a shock to you, but it's true. Black people make roughly 13% of the country, while whites make up roughly 69% of the country. Those whites that here talk about killing of food stamps are the same whites that either don't vote or vote Democrat. The paid media has tricked you into hating a group of people that is marginally tapping into the very welfare that you use. Listen, if that isn't enough, let me ask you this. Do you find it fair to shame anyone on welfare, or as most call it, government handouts, while the government hands out over 1,000 times that amount of money to one company? Keep in mind that the government does this with multiple companies. Is it fair to shame Raheem Jackson for using $650 to get food for the month for his family of 3, while saying it's okay for British Petroleum to receive $1.5 million in subsidies? A subsidy is a word used to sound big, but it is simply used to make half-listening viewers separated from any other form of welfare. Is it fair? Is it right for Raheem to make barely anything and have his free money taken away, while a $60 billion a year company is gifted $1.5 million just because? If you can honestly make any excuse in BP's gift over Raheem, then I question the point of you ever voting again. Black people, don't think I'm leaving you out. I'm still talking to the white people out there as well. Paid media, TV shows, casting, scripts, and such have perverted the ability to see things for the way they are. If you watch Fox News, you'll believe that all black people killed by a cop had a firearm, was charging, or violently resisting arrest, with the death sentence being that he has weed on him or may have had it in his system. It's enough to push the narrative. Listening to Bill O'Reilly, these things stand standard on his show, while he spread falsehoods that all black communities have nothing more than single mothers, fathers in prison, kids committing violent acts, gang activity, and rape, and during his racial slander, he will pop in negative questions asking why they do not help each other rise above poverty. When Bill talks about festivities, just like any TV program, he will show a happy white family or a pretty white girl in a skirt. This gives black people the idea that whites are just hunky-dory, happy-go-lucky people that only want great things for everyone, even those that don't matter. Black people know that white families have disasters, rapes, murder, kidnappings, and all the crap that every single race, culture, creed, and religion has within this country, and yet when they start talking about race, most times they talk stereotype, just like anyone else. If by chance you are sick of reading or hearing me talk about race, then think about how sick I and others in the know must be to know how we all are manipulated and refuse to see any other way of things. This is why we need to actually tear down our walls and talk to each other. We need to be open to new ideals, points of view, and stop clinging to our force-fed opinions as if they are unmistakable facts. This brings me to the main subject of this post. We need to start a new party. We need to start a progressive party. There was one, and it died upon the corporate Democrats' victory over Henry A. Wallace for Vice President of the United States. We need it back. We need to be as one under one party. Right now, both the Democratic and Republican national committees are corporate owned, Lock, stock, and barrel. Both parties give services to their wealthy donors. They talk a great game to you all, but then what? Look at it since Reagan at least. It's been hell, and no one, until the past 6 years or so, has blamed corporations. We need to stop blaming each other and side with each other. We have only one life, one chance to do something positive, and I can't think of anything more positive than leaving the DNC and the RNC and starting our own party, the Progressive Party, a party that unites us, not divides us, a party that works for us and not for the donors, a party that ends wars for oil and actually ushers in the future as we have been denied for generations. It is time that we stop splitting ourselves into micro parties and unite under one positive system that will help, in moderately short amount of time, build the little guy into the regular guy. If you want people off welfare, we need a party that will stop inflation, stop acts like NAFTA, the TPP, and anything else that will send jobs overseas to help other countries while killing our own. We need to stop being the richest third world country and become the country we so proudly praise to people we don't like. We need a party that moves us forward, not incrementally, but progressively. We all need to stop voting for the two corrupt parties that have pitted us against each other. We have only one party, and that is the corporate party. We have the Green Party, what is mostly the Progressive Party in action, but not name. If you ask why not just go green, then do it. You can go yellow, which is the Libertarian Party, but they are a split of the extremes of the two corporate parties, with the only similarity being that they want the donor money. You can't trust something like that to look out for you when they are taking big donor money. You cannot uncorrupt the corrupted. They love the power, the money, and the superiority. Yes, we crave to have money, but should it be at the expense of beating down the defeated? Many times have small towns rose into glory and then, through hate, been torn asunder. Let's build this up and keep it up. The DNC and RNC are stated to be two buildings with a staff of 1 to 2 dozen members running it. We can do that. We can vote in honest, vetted, progressive-minded people, and they won't need millions in TV ads because we'll get our information from unbiased places online. You will know who they are. They will bring the pain to anyone that does wrong. They won't care what party that person or group belongs to. They give you the painful truth. Find them and boost them, and if you find people who have an honest desire to change the game and get things moving, then get them noticed. Will this be hard? Only if we don't work together. If we work together, we can change everything in a short amount of time. If we can't change from our stagnant mindsets, then we are fated to repeat the very things that have kept us divided at each other's throats, and corporations dictating the media what dictates us into voting for the very people that caused it all. It is a cycle of stupidity that we must break. This is something we can all do. In closing, we cannot change the DNC and RNC. We need to leave it. We will not be wasting our votes. We will be using our power to finally cast a vote that will help us see better days. Mount Olympus stands as strong as the people that hold it up. Let it fall and build a new mountain. One that doesn't overlook us, but one that looks out for us. Start a new party, a progressive party, and get progressives into it, and stop trying to get them into a corrupt system. At the end of the day, it is your time, your life, and your vote. Do something progressive with it. Thank you for listening.